Right, good morning. I'm going to talk to you this morning about marketing. Next, I'm going to talk about promotion. We're going to have a look at what your learner objectives are going to be. So, candidates should be aware of, basically they've moved to looking more at higher to below the line promotion. Okay, but I think it's you really need to know about above the line as well. So I'm going to talk about both. But the learner objectives, which are taken from the specification sheet, talk about into the pipeline promotions, which are offered by the manufacturer to the retailer. And then we've got out of the pipeline promotions, which are offered from the retailer to the consumer. Alright, it's quite wordy, so you have to make sure that you get these terms correct. So we're going to really be looking at, first of all, above the line, okay, promotion, which is involving the mass media. I'll come on to that in a second or two. And then you've got below the line. And below the line promotion is more about personal contact, direct selling, all these sorts of things. And it's about going from the manufacturer to the retailer and the retailer out into the consumer. Alright, there's different ways you can do it: point of sale materials, sale return, dealer loaders, promotional gifts, staff training. They're all the manufacturer to retailer. And then what you've got in the second one is you've got retailer to consumer, such as buy one get one free, free trial, free sample packs, vouchers, money off coupons, competitions. And then at the bottom there's another thing to be aware of, is public relations. All about how you give your company a good image and what you would do to go about doing that. Alright, so the first key question is obviously, what is promotion? Promotion is just a method used to pass on information to consumers. Right, an essential way of keeping existing customers and getting new ones. A lot of people get tied up and think promotion is just advertising. It's much, much more than that. So there is advertising, does make up a large part of it, but it's more than that. It's about getting information across, and it comes in 4 different ways, which I'll look at in a minute or two. Is what kind of information you want to pass on and how that information is handled and used. So you've got to get the idea that, yeah, it's about bringing new customers in, but it might also be about informing your current consumers, your current customers, about new products that might be arriving, about basically, just to remind them that your product's there. For instance, dairy milk. Dairy milk don't really need to bring in new customers. I mean, of course they want to. They're just reminding, their already loyal customer base that they're there. Okay, and they'll do that a lot in times coming up to Christmas, when they'll start bringing out those big, huge bars and all these sorts of things. So it's really quite an interesting point. So I've got this graphic here which is about methods of promotion, and you'll see I've tried to make it as simple as possible. Well, this has actually been made by one of the teachers on Business Ed Teachers. So I've basically pinched it, for want of a better expression, because I thought it was really good, and I thought there was nothing really I could add to it. So above the line, you've got the use of mass media. Mass media is the television, the radio, newspapers, cinema, right, all these sorts of things, the internet. Okay, mass basically means that it's not targeted at a specific group. It's goes out to everybody. Okay, so there are various methods of advertising within that. So just remember and keep that in your mind that is above the line. And then below the line is the real graphic that I want you to get an idea of, is into the pipeline. That's going from the manufacturer, right, to the retailer in the centre. And then the out of the pipeline is from the retailer going outwards towards the consumer. So you'll see there's that link between the manufacturer and the consumer, same as we were looking at last time in terms of place. It's just the different methods of doing it. But we'll flip ourselves back very quickly to above the line and talk about different types of advertising. Okay, your advertising can firstly be informative. So if you think about the health board, or you can talk about education, or you can talk about the government want to get information out there. Okay, so they'll do that through giving you informative adverts. For instance, you should stop smoking, about the dangers of drugs, dangers of alcohol, all these sorts of things. So it's basically an information type to give you information. Persuasive, and that is the advertising when they're trying to get new consumers in. Very competitive markets, using powerful images, powerful slogans, right? And there's the one that basically, probably the best, the world's favourite lager, which is from Carlsberg. Alright, but they are trying to say, we are better than the rest. The ones that I try to really look at and I've gone through are the Aldi adverts, where they give you the market leader, and then they give you their equivalent of, show you the difference in price, right? And then they put some humour into the adverts as well. That's to persuade you to try these different products. Okay, just saying that 88% of people said they like this one, but they also like this one. So they're basically trying to break down that brand loyalty and get you into the shop, with the incentive of saving money. You've got the corporate adverts. Now the corporate adverts are the ones such as BP, when BP aren't going to really try and sell you their petrol, okay, because that's what they do, their petrol, their diesel, their forecourts and all these sorts of things. They do much more than that, obviously, but what they'll try and do is they'll put out an advert showing you how green they are, you know, when they're basically going in and they're using all this extractive methods, taking oil and all these sorts of things. They'll try to portray an image, okay, of corporate social responsibility, about a green image. They're not focusing on the product, they're being more holistic, and they're focusing on the entire company and the good things that they're doing. Very rarely will you find, in fact never will you find, a company out saying they've been bad at doing something. So they'll be giving you this, trying to paint this picture of how they are. Yeah, they're giving you petrol, but it's okay, they're looking after the planet while they're doing it. And then you've got generic advertising. Generic advertising is when it's not a particular product, it is a range of products. So if you think about Scotch beef, or you think about Scottish Tourism Visit Scotland, that's not the individual travel agents around Scotland. Okay, what that is, or the individual areas around Scotland. It is a holistic view right across the whole of Scotland, and that's Visit Scotland would do that. So that's a generic advert about a particular range, so like beef, or you see the Scotch beef adverts and all these sorts of things. So they're the different types of advertising, okay, that are used in above the line. And there you come on to the next step, which is basically what ways in which you advertise. First of all, there's print. Okay, you've got the newspapers. So you've got the local newspaper, we've got the Open Times up here. Okay, you've got the daily newspapers, you've got the national newspapers, the big Sunday newspapers, you've got magazines, and you've direct mail. So you've got to think what market you're looking at. For instance, if we looked at a local restaurant such as Piazza, the likelihood is they're not going to take an advert out in the Sun or the Daily Record. The likelihood is they're going to take an advert out to tell you that they've got a certain promotion on. They'll do that in the local newspaper. The same with the local businesses. They'll be looking to advertise to the local community, and they'll do that through the local newspapers. We've then got daily newspapers, which are things along the likes of the Sun and the national newspapers. Again, what kind of advert? They'll be looking at who reads, what's their readership. So you'll generally find that your high-end brands such as Rolex and all these sorts of guys aren't going to be in the Sun. There's going to be your kind of lower down. You maybe find Tesco, you'll maybe find Asda. Okay, basically what they're trying to do is they're looking at the kind of mass market. Who's your general Sun reader? And you'll find that they're not executives, they're not at the high end of income earnings. Okay, but they're more at the lower end of that kind of segment. So again, looking at what you're trying to advertise, who you're trying to advertise to, and the Sunday newspapers. Yeah, you look at the Sunday Times. They will have that because that's the thing of you sit down with the big Sunday newspapers, cup of tea, and do all these sorts of, and go through and read the Sunday newspapers. Can have a longer read, and that's generally your higher end people, you know, your higher end consumer who's going to be reading these kinds of papers. So you'll find your luxury brands and all these sorts of things in there. You've got your magazines, which if you look at it, you've got things like Anglers Weekly. So it's going to be all about fishing. So if you're selling a new fishing rod, get it in there. If you're talking about bodybuilding, get your new protein shakes, get that in there. Okay, and then the next thing is you've got direct mail. Now, we talk about junk mail quite a lot and everybody seems to hate it. But the argument is it must still work. It must still bear a profit because otherwise they would stop it. So direct mail does work, you know, and again, who are the kind of people that are going to be getting back to direct mail? Probably the elderly, people who can't get out of the house very often, and again, from the lower end of the, you know, of the income spectrum. You've got broadcast media. Broadcast media, first of all, is TV. Okay, TV advertising, radio advertising, on the internet, in the cinema. So you go through them one by one. TV, brilliant. Okay, it goes to loads and loads of people, right across the board. So you're paying your highest prices during things like the X Factor, during really important football matches. So Saturday night advertising. The issue is now with Sky Go and all these sorts of things is fast forwarding the adverts. So we don't watch adverts, we don't consume them in the same way as we used to. So you also think as well that it's really expensive to have a TV advert. Like the Super Bowl is famous for the halftime. You know, the commercials at halftime are weighted on by the American public. They cost millions per minute. So really because they know they're getting a huge audience. Radio advertising, what's happening there? It's good because basically, well, you generally find that you listen to the radio in the car, right? Something along those sorts of things. So you're a bit of a captive audience. So you'll find that not only, people say the BBC don't advertise, well they do advertise. They advertise the other programmes that are happening. You know, they say this is coming up tonight or that's coming up tonight, we would like you to listen to it. You've got to paint pictures in people's heads and people's minds. Okay, so you've got to basically, you can have really good catchy jingles and things like that. So the radio is quite famous for that sort of thing. It's a hook that keeps you remembering. On the internet now, social media advertising, you'll find things on your newsfeed and Facebook. On Snapchat, there's banner advertising that comes up, various apps. So they're all the ways on the internet. That's probably how you consume most adverts. Before a YouTube video, you'll see there's a 30-second advert you've got to watch, or you'll see something on the lines of, you can skip this ad. But they try and get the main meat of the advert in those first 5 seconds, like a product, let you know what it is. So hopefully it'll stick in your brain. And then what you've got cinema advertising. Cinema advertising is where you are the captive audience. You're sitting there with your popcorn and your juice before the cinema starts in the dark, right? And you generally aren't going anywhere. So what they'll do is they'll tailor the adverts around the film that you've gone to see. So if they're showing you a kids movie, you'll have toy adverts. If they're showing you some other kind of, if you're going for a James Bond type thing, you'll find that they'll be promoting the products that he maybe uses within the movie. And then you've got outdoor advertising. And there we've got billboards. Billboards have become so much more dynamic than they used to be, which is just a fleeting glance at a large poster. You now get digital billboards, okay, where they change all the time. So you've got, again, it's what do you do? How do you get that sorted? How do you get the hook? How do you get the person to look at it? You've got buses, which have got all the things emblazoned over them. Taxis. You've got round the football grounds now, which have gone from just the basic boards, advertising hoardings. You now see them, they move every so often. Okay, they change. So that's really changed. So again, technology is moving that forward. So above the line, really interesting. Okay, make sure that you understand it's all about mass media, and there's loads of costs involved. Below the line, hey, look at the picture there. You'll see that's point of sale material with the Red Bull fridge and the Tic Tacs and all these sorts of things. What do the manufacturers give to the retailers in order for them to stock their product? So you get dealer loaders, which is very much like buy one get one free that goes to consumers. It's basically they'll give you 6 for the price of 5. They'll give you, most things come in packs of 24 now. Cans of juice, cans of beans, all these sorts of things. So they might say you pay for 20 and pay for 24. Sorry, you'll get 20. Pay for 20, get 24. Can't work that out in my brain. It's too early in the morning. Hey, point of sale displays. Point of sale is basically the merchandising, like that fridge, just the Coca-Cola fridge in between the Asda checkouts. They'll put them in, so that you're walking around, you think, oh, I could really do a cold juice. I've just been in Asda on a Saturday afternoon. Oh, this is mental in here. So I'm just going to have a cold juice. So you'll see displays, posters, all that sort of stuff. Dealer competitions. So they could say for the top salesperson, what they'll do is they'll take them away on a holiday, or they'll do things like they will invite them out on golf. They do just really, again, it's to try, you could say that if the person who sells the most Land Rovers, will get a Land Rover Experience Day. And that's the kind of thing that you're looking at there. Staff training, very important. So the manufacturer will send their training staff into retailers in order to train the staff. That's good because basically they feel that people will, if you know the product, you'll be more able to sell it. So that's the key for them. So if they train you up, then you're more likely to make sales. The sale and return, used every day with newspapers. Okay, so whatever you don't sell can be given back to the manufacturer at no cost to yourself. So it's a no-risk strategy for the retailer. So whatever they sell, that's fine. They take the money for that, pass back whatever the proportion of the profit is back to the manufacturer. But whatever stays, whatever they don't sell, they give that back. So that's basically newspapers. You'll see them every night at W.H. Smith's, Tesco, packaging up all the newspapers and all that sort of stuff to go back to the publisher. And then the other thing you've got extended credit facilities. The better the relationship between the manufacturer and the retailer, the longer the credit facilities and the larger the credit facilities will be. Okay, so it's meaning that you don't have to pay straight away. You get time to do it in order to build up your own profit. So that is below the line. That's into the pipeline. Manufacturer to retailer. The second one is out of the pipeline, and that's aimed at consumers. You'll see there I've got the famous 2 for Tuesday from Domino's Pizza. So there are various things they can do aimed at consumers. They can give you a free sample. You'll see the wee women in Tesco, oh, do you want to try this? I think you should have a wee try of this, and then hopefully you'll go and you'll pick up that particular product when you're on your shop, and then that's your hook. Coupons and vouchers, we all love a coupon, we all love something for free, so they'll basically give us them, they might send us them in the post, but they'll generally be given out to consumers with money off, etc. Competitions, so if you collect 20 Walker's packets, what will happen is you've got a chance to enter a prize draw. Free offers, just there you are, give you one free. So if you buy one, get one free. It's coming on to the good old bog off and all that sort of thing. So you've got to get that into your head. Bonus packs, so you might get 50% free. There'll be a price reduction, a flash, generally a kind of yellow flash saying price reduced for a certain amount of time. So that's a kind of 50p off offer. Premium offers, again that's the one product is free when you buy another. You'll see that quite a lot, although they're trying to do away with it in the grocery market, where if you buy two you get one free, or if you buy one you get one free. Again, it's down that bog off free offer. Along with free offers, you also get things like you get a toy in your cereal packet. Doesn't happen as much anymore, but it used to be something that when I was younger and my Kellogg's used to collect the things. Like, in fact, the last thing I can remember was Kellogg's were doing spoons that you could suck your milk out of, as well. At the same time, there were straws as well. So that was then Cocoa Pops and Frosties and all that sort of thing. In-store demonstrations, going back to the free samples. Merchandising, so in-store displays, so you can have basically, like you'll see Coca-Cola will give you the big box to put their Coca-Cola in, Coca-Cola stands, Coca-Cola fridges, all that sort of thing. And then you've got keyrings. Okay, they maybe give you keyrings, t-shirts. You'll find that when you become students, right? You'll find that loads of folk walking about with Budweiser t-shirts on, or your favourite nightclub might give you t-shirts sponsored by a particular drinks promotion company. Or the one I can really think of is St Patrick's Day, where Guinness seemed to take over, and all these people are wandering around in those big hats that are pints of Guinness, and you can get t-shirts, and you can get all these Guinness glasses and all these sorts of things. And then at the end there's consumer credit facilities offered from the retailer to the consumer. So you're buying a £600 telly, can you afford to buy it in the one bot? Probably not. So what you do is they'll give you credit facilities. Below the line, methods of promotion. So you'll see there that's a celebrity endorsement. There's Nicki Minaj and the line of basically whatever that is, nail polish. Public relations is the first one, so I'm going to talk about that. And that's about getting good messages out. That is about basically making your company look good. SSE sponsoring the Hydro, right? You've got the O2 Arena, you've got the O2 music venues in Glasgow. So it involves press statements, making charitable donations, being a philanthropist. You've got sponsoring events, the Iron Brew Carnival. You've got arranging product endorsement. You've got basically, who are we going to get involved in this? Let's get people out there to spread the word and get a good name for our brand. Publicity, again, internal, right? That's through press releases. Letting the press know the good things that are happening within your organisation. Being used more and more in relation to the green message. We are trying our best to save the environment. Sky are doing it a lot at the moment with their reducing the plastics in the ocean. So that's an interesting point. It's not usually paid for. You don't usually pay for that for public relations. You take people in, you wine them, you dine them. With journalists, you invite them to a launch, and then you hope they'll go away and write about your product. It can become advertising, right? If it's good publicity, you can start really saying, yeah, this is the things that we are doing, and advertise it to the public and let them know. But that generally starts with a newspaper article or something along those sorts of lines, or we are sponsoring a particular event. There's good old Gary Lineker with the crisps, celebrity endorsement. Look at that, advantages. Photographs of the celebrity are used to create a visual connection to the product. What they're thinking is, if you see, and it's a truism for me, that I've got a small child, he's not small, he's 9, but he watches football relentlessly, and he sees Cristiano Ronaldo with a pair of boots on, and he sees Messi with a pair of boots on, and he thinks to himself, I want those, I need those boots. Alright, that's celebrity endorsement. These guys get paid millions of pounds to wear these boots, knowing that on the back of them they will be sold. And these wee guys, like my son Ben, will be like, oh, if I put those boots on, I might be able to play like Messi. So you've got to have that whole thing. You see golfers wearing particular gear, right, or using particular clubs. That's to appeal to the golfers who want to hit the ball further, want to be more accurate, and that's the kind of thing that they look at. That's celebrity endorsement. You can charge higher prices due to the endorsement. Think how much the CR7s are. Think how much football boots, the price are becoming ridiculous these days. £150, £200 for a pair of boots. So, and they change every 6 months because they know they've got that endorsement and they know that kids will be moaning at their parents to buy them. Statements can be used in promotion, so you'll get somebody out to say, look, this is the product, I think it's excellent. You've got Lineker there involved in all of the Walker's Crisps adverts, and he's had a long-standing relationship with them. You know, and he's become a figure in the households through Match of the Day and all these various, other things on the television. So we associate good things with him in a kind of clean living image as a footballer. So we associate that with a brand and all these sorts of things. There's a brand ambassador. Disadvantages, it costs large amounts of money, so you've got to pay millions upon millions of pounds. Contracts. David Beckham is the epitome of that. He made far more money out of endorsements than he did out of playing football, and that's where he built up most of his wealth. And other disadvantages are if they are seen to be doing something wrong, bad publicity can be linked to them, which can damage your brand. So recent scandals have been Lance Armstrong, Salazar, they were both involved in Nike. In fact, so was Tiger Woods actually, so Nike have been involved in 3 of them. You know, when the celebrity who is held up in such high esteem has kind of fallen and basically been found to be cheating or found to be doing something wrong and incorrect, that can tarnish your brand. And generally what you'll find when something like that hits the press, you'll see all these companies coming out and saying, no, we've nothing to do with that person anymore. So it's really quite an interesting concept. And these are the good things about celebrity endorsement and the bad things. Packaging, there's a Nike Air with an in-ear bubble. Okay, that was something that they tried. I think those 1990s trainers are coming back now. So what are you considering? The shape and the weight, right, can affect distribution costs, obviously. So the way it's packaged. Is it going to be funky packaging? Is it going to be something different? Will it protect what's inside? You don't want anything to be damaged in transit, so you've got to think about that sort of thing. Right? Convenient. Is it easy for the customer to handle? Look at Amazon, they give you a rip strip along every package they send you to make it easy for you to get in rather than having to cut through bits of tape and all that sort of stuff. Design. Is it eye-catching? What are the colours? Look at Nike boxes, orange with a big swoosh on them. Right? Adidas black with the 3 white stripes on them. So you've got to distinguish yourself from the competition. How do you stand out? Information. It's a legal requirement now to have on your packaging for food labelling in case there's all these allergies and all these sorts of things. And then you've also need to have the technical requirements. If you're selling something like DIY equipment, DIY tooling, something I'm really interested in for the man cave, you've got to think about what's the wattage. You know, what does it do? What is the power? I mean, what am I expecting to get from this particular product? And then environmental factors. Do we need to wrap bananas in 4 bags of cellophane? No, they come in their own packaging, which is their skin. So you're finding now there's this big push, especially with the plastics, to get rid of that excess packaging. So you have to really, think about that and make sure that people know that your packaging is eco-friendly. Then you've got ethical marketing. Something you've got to make sure, you've got to be held to account, and we'll talk about the ASA in a minute, the Advertising Standards Agency. But you've got to be ethical. Do not mislead your customers, because it will come back and bite you. You cannot make promises of a product that it will not do. Right? Lying to your consumer doesn't work. You mustn't show indecent or obscene images, in case you've got to watch that sort of thing. And you should not offend the consumer's beliefs or moral senses. So it's very difficult, dodgy ground. So ethical marketing is all about that sort of thing. It's about making sure you're getting your message across in a good, decent, wholesome fashion. Lastly but not least, you've got the Advertising Standards Agency, Authority, sorry. They're put in place by the government to ensure the fact that there are certain standards that are kept to. So misleading adverts, you've got to prove what you can say. If you say something in the advert, it must be able to do it. Right? There must be pricing. Ryanair have been caught out for this. You've got to ensure your product doesn't contain any hidden costs. Free, if you say something's free, it's got to be free. Can't cause harm and offence. Rules to ensure that adverts do not cause harm and offence, widespread offence to anybody. Right? Includes rules relating to loudness of TV adverts, shock tactics, unsafe practices, photosensitive epilepsy. Can hardly say that. Right? Think about that sort of idea. Right? You've got to have an idea. They used to turn the advert up slightly. On your normal on your TV, you find that the adverts get louder. So they're trying to say, right, cool that down. Children. Right, unsafe practices, again, are you selling stuff during kids' adverts? So that has been put the kibosh on. Environmental claims, if you're making a green claim, you've got to make sure you can back it up. Hey, you've got to have evidence for that. And then there's prohibited categories, such as you never see cigarette adverts on television anymore. So all these sorts of things have got to be taken into account. And then if you're found to be, the ASA can hand out fines and they can basically pull adverts. The most recent one which the ASA pulled was the palm oil advert, which was by Iceland, okay, with the orangutan saying it was too political. And that's caused a bit of a storm, and it's probably worked in favour, actually, of Iceland, because it hit social media straight away and it caused a huge storm on Twitter. So that's what I want you to get into. That is promotion under the marketing mix. The next video will be about the service mix, the 3 additional P's, but that should really cover off as much as I can. So you remember, the things to remember here are above the line, mass media; below the line, you're talking about into the pipeline and out of the pipeline. Alright?